Hi, welcome to the video. Hope you enjoy. Ninja Gaiden must be one of my favorite game franchises of all time. I remember when the first came out. I was 14, and by this point in my life, I was all about the latest and greatest. I had heard about the original Ninja Gaiden for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I remember at that age, NES games weren't that interesting to me, especially reading online how hard the original NES game was. But I really like ninjas. I always wanted a great ninja game. What I didn't realize, that I was about to play the greatest ninja game a teen in the early 2000s could ask for. Blood, monsters, visceral combat, voluptuous women, and a badass hero who didn't think twice. Team Ninja revolutionized downloadable content with their DLC, Hurricane Pass. A lot sure has changed since then. When I first started this review, I wanted to make a case why you and I should definitely support and buy this new collection. What I didn't realize was just how much has changed since then. So, as we can see here, I've got everything connected up. I've got my AverMedia LGP ready to go, and I haven't had much luck yet. So I'm going to try turning it on. I cannot describe just how long it took to get the game started. Just started! I have spent hours upon hours just trying to get a game that I own from official hardware to work as intended. Thankfully, I still own most of what I need to try to get this to work. Many of you no longer do, and let me tell you, it's not what I thought it'd be all these years later. Our stuff inevitably deteriorates, and the physical media we are preserving is best left alone after all these years. For this reason, I strongly advocate for digital and renewed media as companions to collecting. Collecting games and playing them have become two very different things. But admiring them at E3... Ninja Gaiden was first announced at E3 2002 as an Xbox exclusive. Since then, this franchise has been beloved and lovingly remembered by its players to this day. This video will stand as an introduction into a series where I explore each game on the collection with the intent purpose of proving that the collection is not bad. It's amazing. In large part due to the brilliance of the first entry in the series, I set out in an effort to restore that love for myself, and I'm happy to report, after setup, it was effortless and wonderful. The depth that these games offer after nearly 17 years is understated. For those of you who have only completed the game on normal, you're missing out. The challenges that once seemed impossible are well within any player's reach with the help of YouTube. There are many content creators still fluent in its mechanics and precise strategies, in great part thanks to speedrunning, but even more so thanks to scored or karma leaderboards. Reaching the high score required comprehensive knowledge and precise execution, not to mention a little luck. For those of you looking for guides or help to master this game, I highly recommend many of the greatest Ninja Gaiden players who are currently active on YouTube. I think it's best to lay some groundwork and really sell the idea of buying a game twice. A great way to start is buying a game once. Rock Band peripherals were manufactured by Mad Catz starting in 2008. However, Rock Band 4 released in 2015, and so they went bankrupt. Then, in 2016, Performance Design Products took over, and after a small attempt at creating some guitars, they packed up shop, and now only the second-hand market remains. It is now impossible to buy new and functional Rock Band instruments from any retail or online store. Seriously, my favorite party game that I've spent hundreds of dollars in DLC supporting has come to a total grinding halt due to poorly engineered hardware. For context, for those who don't know, the Xbox One and Series do not support the older instruments. Only the instruments made after Rock Band 4, and since it didn't sell very well, that means the instruments are, well, there aren't many of them. My adapter they provided was basically designed to fail, and after a few great years, mine has broken, and they no longer exist except as rare, desirable, and used purchases. I can't even play one of my favorite games, Rock Band 4. The hardware is necessary, and I can't buy it. Stuff breaks, and if it's suddenly irreplaceable, that feels bad. If the GPU shortage has taught us anything, it's that people are extremely comfortable asking for high premiums if they perceive a demand for something, no matter how common or important. So the used market really isn't sustainable by any stretch of the imagination. I would spend any premium at this point in order to restore my game to its former glory. You know, playable? Look, obviously this wasn't done intentionally. This is how things ended up. Consumers, gamers, collectors, developers, and publishers had no idea these are precisely the challenges with supporting and investing in this industry. We want things to last, because we know they can. But now we know. And they know. This, I believe, is a great example of why buying a game twice might be a more desirable option for something as aged as Ninja Gaiden. Sometimes having access to things you love just feels worth it. The Ninja Gaiden Master Collection comes during the renaissance of nostalgia revivalism. For example, Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Diablo 2 Resurrected, Nier Replicant, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, Warcraft 3 Reforged. Wait, that's not supposed to be there. Who wrote this? We're gonna have to edit that out. The list is long and our time is short. It's no surprise that Ninja Gaiden would get a Master Collection. Just to clarify, there is no interactive interface on the Steam version where you select which game to play. Each game is installed separately but sold as a collection exclusively. Also, you can buy a digital art book and soundtrack player. More on that much later. The Master Collection offers purchasers access to 3 games, and this has been the subject of scrutiny and disdain. The name betrays the idea that somehow this will be truly comprehensive and everything you could have wanted, when all you might have wanted was a PC port of Ninja Gaiden Black. The Master Collection offers specific versions of Ninja Gaiden games, 1 per entry. To give some context, Ninja Gaiden has always struggled with version identity, to which I mean it's long been debated which one is the best. After releasing on the Xbox in March of 2004, Ninja Gaiden would be remastered multiple times. After a huge release of free downloadable content called the Hurricane Packs, Ninja Gaiden was remastered to include this and more in its seminal version Ninja Gaiden Black, released September 2005. It would then leave the realm of Xbox exclusive to be ported over to Ninja Gaiden Sigma. This, interestingly enough, was not worked on by the original director or producer Tomonobu Itagaki. Sigma would release June 2007 exclusively on the PlayStation 3 until now. Similarly, Ninja Gaiden 2 was released exclusively for the Xbox 360 in June 2008. Just prior to Ninja Gaiden 2's release, however, Tomonobu Itagaki announced he had left as a creative director at Team Ninja. Officially claimed as being owed promised royalties, he sued Tecmo for its withholding. Free, if you will, of the burden of silence, he spoke his opinions of Ninja Gaiden Sigma. These words would forever tarnish and wound the reputation of Team Ninja as it continued to create and develop the Ninja Gaiden series. Ninja Gaiden 2 would have its own sister version called Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and it was released exclusively for the PlayStation 3 October 2009. This is where things get really interesting. Remember when ports were just ports? Well, a lot of people assume this would likely be a straight port, but Microsoft published Ninja Gaiden 2, not Tecmo. Well, today they're now called Koei Tecmo after a 2010 merger. So Tecmo Koei, its name before Koei Tecmo, takes Ninja Gaiden 2 and really works hard to differentiate it. But after Itagaki was quoted as saying, Sigma was no good, the internet imploded on itself and nothing was ever the same again. All goodwill and faith is lost. There's no going back. Sigma 2 comes out and people hate it! Absolutely despise this game. And here you have a former director more or less vindicating this sentiment, let alone possibly catalyzing it. That was important to get out early, and we'll take a look at it in detail when the time comes. Now, moving on to Ninja Gaiden 3. I hate it. You know that. It came out March 2012 on both Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, a first. And it's awful. The first impression it gives is so critically panned that I'm delighted to not have to talk about it for another second. Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge, was announced to be its eventual sister release as a Wii U launch title. Well, Ninja Gaiden 3 didn't do so well, and naturally Razor's Edge would be announced on Xbox and PlayStation possibly as a way of recouping potential losses. Razor's Edge would release November 2012 on Wii U and then April 2013 for Xbox and PlayStation consoles. Fun note, I bought Razor's Edge for $5. One of my favorite game series got bargain bin. I will be talking about Razor's Edge in the final installment of this series, and I think it's worth the wait. Just to be thorough, 2 more versions of Ninja Gaiden Sigma came out on PlayStation Vita, called Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus, February 2012, and later, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 Plus, the next year, February 2013, which will become very important later. After extensively researching and studying Ninja Gaiden and all its versions, I can conclusively say, don't listen to the hate. Every version here is worthy of play. Have you ever heard of randomizers? Randomizers are usually older games with as many or as little things moved around to freshen up the experience, and in some ways dramatically alter it. They are actually really popular as they require at times beyond complete knowledge of the game itself before they can be completed. This idea of shuffling things around to add a rich element of surprise and intrigue has become very popular. Now, for those of you like me who never played Sigma 1, 2, and Razor's Edge, well, they are really mild remixes, hitting the right notes of familiar, slightly updated, but very much the same at its core, a frantic, deep, and satisfying experience with so much more to give. There is tons of excitement at the prospect of Ninja Gaiden on PC, allowing for mods, hacks, custom arenas, and potentially fully fledged randomizers. The best part is you don't need to own, preserve, or use any old hardware. You can simply take this title with you throughout the years, as many things will inevitably succumb to time. The explicit goal of this project moving forward will be to carefully catalog and contrast all of the Ninja Gaiden versions in order to conclusively compare them. I will be completing and comparing all versions of Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3 on all difficulties. I've never beaten the games on any difficulty except maybe hard, and I'd like to take this opportunity to first thank you for watching and to ask for your support in this harrowing task. If so inclined, follow me on Twitch, links in the description below, and each time I stream, it will be one chapter compared across multiple games. Each chapter of each game averages about an hour, so depending on the game, streams will differ in length. I will be ultimately compiling possibly the first ever on-video comprehensive comparison of every single room, item, and enemy change across all difficulties and on all non-handheld versions. All this information will be compiled into formal YouTube videos, so don't feel bad if you miss out on the live comparisons. I feel like it's something that has long been awaited from the Ninja Gaiden community, and I've decided to do it. I won't be able to compare the original releases of Sigma Plus 1 and 2, however, but rest assured that much of their content is found in the Master Collection's release. I really need my community to support and rally behind me, as this is going to be months of non-stop research and recording. In the meantime, I can assure you this game will grow and improve with time on Steam, and I can't recommend the release enough based on my initial playthroughs. It's fun to watch someone talk about our favorite games, but this is probably your best opportunity to relive its magic. And trust me, it's magic. In conclusion, buy Ninja Gaiden again, damn it! It's a fantastic franchise, worth playing to this day, and do not sleep on this one. This could revive a series that I think has massive potential. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have yourself a great day.
I just never thought of being a father.